Legendary racer Junior Johnson has died at the age of 88. When you think about the South, there are some of those names that are just bigger than everything else, from John Lewis to Andrew Young, Hank Aaron, Richard Petty, Dolly Parton, and certainly this man, Junior Johnson. I always think of him a little bit like Babe Ruth. It's hard to differentiate fact from fiction. His life was so mythic, so tall in sport in the South, his influence so great. Fans loved him even more. He grew up in rural North Carolina. He ran moonshine. He was arrested for working at an illegal still, eventually pardoned by President Reagan. Prison sentence, cut into racing, still won dozens, had 5 Cup wins. Then as an owner, he was the first man inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Junior Johnson, it is hard to imagine NASCAR without Junior Johnson. And for that matter, it's hard to imagine the South without him.